I'm Amy. Welcome into my channel, Beauty and Beyond. I love to talk about makeup and project panning and conscious consumerism here on my channel. And in an effort to really embody that and embrace that, this past week I challenged myself to do the 1 week 1 palette challenge using my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. So today I'm here to share with you 7 looks that I created using just this palette. Most of my looks were created using a random number generator, so I did it kind of palette bingo style, which we'll definitely get into when I do my reflection on this challenge. Today we're going to create the 7th look, and I would love for you to tell me in the comments below which look that I did this week is your favorite, and I'll reveal my favorite at the end. At this point in the year, I have used all of the shades except for one, and this fulfills my No Pan Left Behind challenge. So in order to complete this palette, No Pan Left Behind, today I'm going to use the last shade, which is Ella, and this one is Ella. Ella is a kind of a glittery satin type thing, which is a goldy brown color, and I already kind of swatched it so I could see what it was all about, and I feel like I can put that all over my lid and blend it out with one of the mattes, and I'll have a really simple look. Today I'm just bumming around the house and cleaning and getting everything reset after my mother-in-law was here for a visit, so I don't need to look too fabulous today, maybe just a little bit glam. So today's look is going to be pretty simple, using 2, maybe 3 shades. So let's go ahead and dive in. I like to use my fingers with shimmers. I feel like it's the fastest way to get them on your lid, and really you get more bang for your buck, I think, when you use your finger. And in using this, I think that this really equates well to one of my favorite shades in the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. It's the shade that I really like to use as a one shadow look, and it's Cobbler. So I want to kind of swatch Cobbler right next to that, and they do, they're similar-ish, whereas the Natasha Denona has glitter in it and Cobbler does not. It has more of a sheen to it, and Cobbler is a little more light toned, and this is definitely a lot more brown. But they have a similar type effect that I think I'm really going to enjoy, and later on I might use Ella from Natasha Denona as a one shadow look. I think that might be kind of cool to see how that goes. This palette bingo has really been a lot of fun for me, and the 1 week 1 palette challenge has been a lot of fun for me. The randomization of everything really kicked it up a notch and really helped me to be able to think outside the box. One, really I didn't have to think at all because I randomized everything, and I think one day my daughter picked some, I don't remember, but all in all, today is the first day that I'm picking it out on my own, which made it nice and fast getting ready for the week, so I liked that. Okay, what I'm doing right now is actually taking Ella on my crease brush, and as I'm brushing it in and kind of blending it out, it is dusting away most of the glitter, I feel like, so it's doing well on its own. As you will see coming up when I share my looks, the palette bingo randomization really helped me to get out of my creative rut. I did looks and created looks and paired things together that I don't know that I ever would have actually put with each other. Or one aspect that I did with this challenge was I also randomly generated a number 1 through 5, and that dictated how many shades I was going to use that day. And then I randomly generated 1 to 15 based off of the first round of things. So on days, as you'll see, on days when I didn't get a very high number and I was really kind of stuck using one in one case, or two in several cases, shades, I really kind of had to like think outside the box. How am I going to make this interesting? How am I going to make it look like I'm put together, but really I didn't do a whole lot with it? So that was also a fun way to go about using the makeup collection that I have, and not just going with the same old, you know? I think that when you are trying to do a low buy or a no buy, and you have goals set for your beauty life, or really anything, not just beauty or makeup, but anything where you're trying to like purposely not spend money, I think it's good for you to figure out different ways to either not spend money or to reuse things that you have. I have a video where I talked about some goals that I have, like financial kind of goals that I have. And even today, I was thinking about hand soaps. I really like the Mrs. Meyer's hand soaps. They're just, they smell really good. And I generally like to have those based off of like whatever season that it might be. And so, you know, for the winter time, I usually do the candy cane and the Iowa pine scent. And we are out of those, and we've been using the hand soap refills. And I was thinking, okay, well, you know, maybe soon I need to get some more Mrs. Meyer's hand soaps, since I'm, you know, out and we've been using just the hand soap refill. But then I thought, no, I still have like 3 bottles of hand soap refill soap. So why am I going to go buy more soap when I have plenty of soap that I've already spent the money on? So I tried to look at that as not so much that I'm saving money, because all of that soap will get used up. That's kind of like toilet paper and paper towels, you know? You will use those things. But this is more of a delay of spending money. I'm not going to spend money on something. I'm trying to do that this year, of not spending money on something when I already have something similar to it in my home, whether it's makeup or food, or even today, hand soap. And ultimately, that is, you know, all fulfilling my goal of a low buy, not just in my makeup and beauty life, but also just in my all around life. Okay, so here's what I did for my look. I went ahead and put Ella all over the lid, and then I blended that out with Stone right here, and then I put a little bit of this kind of dark peachy color, maybe like a mauvey color, vague, right here in my crease, and then I added a liner just to add a little bit of drama with Silhouette. So overall, I think I used 4 shades today, and I like that. I think that this palette obviously is not something where you're going to get like super colorful looks, and that's part of the reason why I chose it for January, because, you know, January is just kind of a very neutral color month for me, or to me it is. So I thought this would be great to use in January, and hopefully you'll agree as we come along and take a look at the looks that I did create. Before we get started with that, I'm going to put on some mascara, and then we'll dive into my 1 week 1 palette pictures. Okay, we're back, and this is my total finished look. I will have the products that I used listed down below, just in case you're like interested or whatever. I'm certainly not a makeup artist, but sometimes when I'm watching, you know, somebody's video, I kind of like think it's fun to see what they're wearing. I don't know, so you might find some kind of inspiration in my little boring look. All right, so I'm gonna scoot over this way so that I can pop up pictures right here of my looks. Starting on Sunday, I have my notes here, and so here are the shades that I used on Sunday. So on Sunday, I drew 1 number, and it was the shade Stone. And so that is when I really wanted to like get out of my comfort zone. I wanted to challenge myself. I was so tempted to draw another number, so I had something else to go with. But I thought to myself, no, the point of 1 week 1 palette is to use the one palette, and the point of the palette bingo is for you to be stretched as a makeup user. So what I did was I just used a variety of brushes, and that really, I think, helped to create a little bit of dimension. I used a more tapered brush like this on my outer corner. I used a fluffier brush like this for blending in the crease, and then I used my little kind of pointed brush. Let me see, here it is, like this one, to create a little bit of like dimension right here in the inner like outer V, inner outer V. And then really just kind of like continue that on lightly and blended it in from out here inward to create a little bit of a lighter gradient of that same color. And I think that it turned out really nicely for one shade. And I'm really thankful the one shade was a matte, because that was that made things a little easier. On Monday, I drew the number 5. I was very relieved that I got to have some more numbers. And for this look, I posted the shades on Instagram, and my friend DW over at Deb's Beauty Diary commented and said, here's what you should do with those shades. So that was really helpful for me. I didn't have to think about it. She told me what to do, and so I did it. So this is what I created with that direction in mind. I drew the shade Silhouette, and I used that one as a liner. I drew Wit, and I believe I put that in the crease. Tender right here was a little bit in the outer, and Mesh, kind of blending that in a little bit too. And then Mia was the Pretty Sparkle. And I was really surprised at how purple it looks in this picture. This shade, Mia, is a very pinky, purpley kind of shade. It's very much a kind of a topper color also. And it's just really pretty. It's hard for you to see probably on the camera, but in real life, and if you have this palette, you can go swatch it too. It is very pink and purpley. So for Tuesday, I drew the number 2. So here I am getting challenged again because one of those 2 shades was fair, which is the cream colored shade. And the other one was Travertine right here, which also I feel like would be a really great one shadow look. So I kind of spiced it up a little bit since Fair was one of the 2 shades, and I did put Travertine as far as I could, and I did as much as I could with it. And so I added a liner to add a little bit of character and depth and dimension to the look to make it a little more visually interesting. And I think this day was the day that I had somebody when I was in a meeting say, your makeup looks really good today. And I was only wearing 2 shades, so that was pretty cool. On Wednesday, I drew the number 2 again. And this was the day that I was really realized doing this challenge palette bingo style will really allow you to be creative and not just kind of doing your go-to stuff. I drew 2, and those shades were Wit and Filigree. And Filigree in here looks kind of like brown, but when I paired it up with Wit, for some reason, they both, the Filigree looked kind of green almost to me, but it doesn't here. But for some reason that particular day, it was really pulling off green vibes. So I did kind of like a halo look, where I put Wit here in my crease, and I packed it here with a different kind of brush on the outer part and on the inner part of my lid. And then I put Filigree in the middle, and then kind of like blended it on the edges a little bit to smooth it out. And all in all, I think that it turned out pretty good. I don't know that this one was my favorite look, but I was challenged, and I was really able to think outside the box and stretch myself. And that's really the goal of this project, this challenge, and my life this year, really. Thursday, I drew the number 5, and so 3 of those were shimmers. So here we had a whole lot of mattes and some of the other looks earlier in the year, and on Thursday it was 3 shimmers. It was Sheen, where's that? Okay, this one's Sheen. It was a Filigree again, and Mia, this one right here. And then 2 mattes were Stone and Fair, which is again that cream colored one. And so Fair, I think Fair set the lid, Stone went in the crease, and then Filigree, Sheen, and Mia, I kind of just did like a gradient. I started on the outside with Filigree and then worked my way in using Sheen, and I think I topped it with Mia, just kind of lightly, because Mia is really a good topper shade. On Friday, I drew the number 2 again, and those were also something where I was kind of like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Not super exciting, but it was a simple look. Fridays are, you know, everybody's tired on Fridays at work, and, you know, it's been a long week for me, and really, I was fine with it. I got the shades Stone and Mesh, and these 2 shades are very similar to each other, but Mesh is actually a little lighter than Stone. So Stone is this one, Mesh is this one, and Stone is actually a little bit lighter than Mesh. So again, what I did, this one's Mesh, this one's Stone. So again, what I did was I just used the lighter color Mesh on my crease, and then Stone on the outside, and just kind of just casually and lightly blended it all forward. And I think it just turned out fine, you know. It really kind of is starting to get me outside of my rut of I need to have a shimmer every time. This palette has really great creamy blendable mattes. I know that some people say that they're kind of patchy, but my palette, my mattes are really good, so I don't have any complaints about that. And it really has been good for me to be able to stretch myself and think about an eye look can just be mattes also. And it worked out nicely. And so now I have completed the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude No Pan Left Behind as of today. And this I haven't updated with some of the other shades that I used in my look, but I did go ahead and mark Ella because I knew that I was going to use that. So this is a quick snapshot and a preview of what you'll see in my No Pan Left Behind update in February. I am very excited about that, and I am sad to see this one go. I will still use this palette throughout the year, totally. I only have 18 palettes, so, you know, it's not like a tremendous amount, but I am looking forward to being able to pick whatever I want to use tomorrow. And hopefully if you like 1 week 1 palette inspiration, you will consider subscribing, like this video, and let me know if you have done this challenge before. Let me know which look was your favorite. Okay, my favorite at first was the one on Monday where it kind of looked purpley, but this one that I did today, I don't know, something just very like classy and dramatic about it, but simple dramatic. When I look at myself right here in the mirror, I think that looks really kind of elegant. So I don't know. Both of those 2 are my favorites. You let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, and look forward to 1 week 1 palette in February, where I'm gonna have to really think hard about which one I'm gonna use, because I have a couple of contenders for February, and I'm looking forward to diving into that palette, whichever one I pick. I'll see you in another video. Bye.